Yeah, okay, so I see it, and I love it. Well,
Okay.
go ahead and review it.
Always takes me a couple minutes to get signed in because I have to go, like, for some reason the invite's on my Red Hat account. Then I got to copy the Zoom link and then go to my personal account to sign into Google so that I can actually open the link.
There'll be a few people who can't make it. Jeff, who was new last week, said he's still interested but couldn't make it today. So.
I'm just bringing up the GitHub here.
Hey, man.
Morning.
How you doing?
A little tired.
I'm running somewhat tired myself.
It was supposed to be a 30-minute flight from DC to Virginia last night. We stuck there for 6 hours. I didn't get home until 3 this morning.
Oh my gosh.
From DC to Virginia?
Yeah, I could have drove home.
You could have driven, yes. Are you kidding? You could have had one of those electric bikes and it would have gotten you there faster.
Yeah, because my husband was like, "Oh well, we could just call Uber because neither of us in the condition. I was so tired. It was just like, well, we could call Uber home in 3 hours.
Yeah.
We stuck there for 6 hours. I was like, oh well, that's why I was a little tired.
Were you flying out of DCA or Reagan?
Yeah. We actually flew back from Boston to DCA, then DCA to Virginia, or Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh.
So we changed plane in DCA, and then it was like the shortest one. Then keep on changing and delay, and
Yeah. It's hard when you're so darn close.
I know. It was like you get almost there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I started driving a lot because like if I was within almost a 5-hour radius, it just became so much easier, because between plane travels and delays and at least so I'm in southern Maine and I could get to New York City in about 4 hours and maybe 50 minutes. It'd be like
that kind of distance I might just drive because Virginia to Boston is about 10 hours, so I wasn't gonna drive for that distance. So it's like, oh well, fun traffic, air trouble. Cool. Only 5 of us.
Yeah, it's 11:36. Maybe we should just get started. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this off. This is for the United States. This is our tax day, April 15th. So anyway, happy tax day, I guess. I don't know.
Or sad tax day, either way.
What's that?
Or sad tax day, either way.
Yeah. And April 15th, and this is CD Foundation Cybersecurity Group. All right, so Chris, actually, if you remember, we were talking about before we left the basically like how would a chart look, somewhat of a spreadsheet. And I'm going to share up what she did. Again, for me, I like it. But if this makes more sense, and like tool 1, tool 2, and tool 3, I'm presuming that we would name these tools, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think this format looks good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like it.
Yeah, same
Mm-hmm.
with, so this looks really, really nice.
I think it works.
So yeah, I like it. So I think it's very straightforward and I would imagine that, do you think at the end of this, I wonder, we're gonna be able to see, I'm sure we're gonna be able to see which tool would fit into, not something we should worry about now. I was just thinking, you know, like if we see, uh, you know, GitHub or SourceForge or something like that, repeated throughout, I would imagine that we would keep, if there was a ranking, that we would keep having them go higher. You know, I always, whenever I went to a customer site, for me, all that mattered, because so much in the, when you go to a client site with, you know, with IBM, or it was always, they were always, you know, the shiny new tool over and over and over again. And so you would have like literally 120 shiny new tools creating this, you know, vulnerability in itself and just a management nightmare. So what I like about this is I think that when we get to the end of this, we're going to be able to be like, you know, look at how these, you know, fewer tools can do more. And let's say the one tool is maybe at 50% on some of them, but that same tool might be at 95%. You know, do I care that it's at 50 or 95? For me, I wouldn't, but you know, anyway, this is
Yeah,
what,
I think you know, I do think that we would probably also want to have something that goes in the other direction, but I was thinking that trying to build that from the beginning might add too much load to the initial build out, you know, like instead of linking to GitHub directly, we would link to our page about GitHub, and then that page would list which of these things it sort of can handle. But I think that that is a lot of work to build in two directions at once, you know.
yeah, it's a good idea. And we should write that down to make sure that we come back to that, you know,
Mm.
because I think like once we get through this, and I agree, going in two different directions, but yeah, cool. Yeah, going in two different directions can be quite overwhelming.
The only thing, my only concern with this, and it's not with the layout, is like giving readiness a number. I know from experience, people start to nitpick, like, is it 95% or is it 85%? Like, do we want a number, or is a like a red, yellow, green enough? Or, you know?
That's a
I
very
think that
interesting.
readiness will probably just throw it there if we don't have that, or we don't have data to prove any of those, maybe we just don't have that column at all. Do we have the data to support whatever, even it's red, yellow, green? Do we have data to support which is red, which is? I mean, red wouldn't mean that it doesn't work at all, right? If the tool doesn't provide this capability for this task, we should not really add them to the list anyway. So whatever tool we add here will be has some kind of capability to support this task. So then the readiness become a data point that we may not even have. So if we don't have that, we can get rid of that column altogether. I don't know. We have data to support it. That's why I wasn't sure.
You know, if I were looking at the readiness of tools, and if I were, and I understand what you guys are saying, but there would be a checklist that we already have, meaning include source code, executable code, configuration as a code. Let's say some of this only provides, didn't provide based on the principle of least privilege. Let's say they didn't have identity and access management controls over the tool. Well, it would still meet some of it, but it didn't meet least privilege.
Mhm.
I would think like, I would think that we would be able to show that and how we came to it, you know. The
Mhm.
percentage, I agree with what you're saying, Henry, like, you know, people might be like, yeah, right, where did you get this from? Yeah, that's a good question. Good
I
point.
think we're all saying the same thing. Like if we're gonna give it a
Mhm.
score, we need to have like a transparent way to get to the score.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
agree.
basically have to show them the criteria we used to come up with that score. So, to be more objective than subjective, I guess.
That's an excellent point. Anybody have ideas around that?
I mean, the easiest way is to, yeah, start without the column, then
I
have a,
just start with the tools column first. Maybe we should start filling in the tool. Then we figure out the second column, whether we can get to that. If we can't get to it, then maybe next phase or whatever, when we have the data to support it. So we gotta start, I guess, somewhere.
But didn't Ed send over?
He said
Was
he would just that format, example format. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. So
It doesn't mean anything.
it doesn't have the actual data there.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
I don't know, like Gartner or whatever, whether they have some kind of data to support for different
The
tools.
only thing I wonder, and it would take me back to one of these dashboards that we had to create. And all that mattered was that something was either ready, and so it was green, or something was red, meaning it was critical. But in this case, maybe, hey, Chris, is it difficult to do colors?
It's easy actually.
Is it?
We can just using an icon, you know, whatever the red, green, yellow icon. So that what color?
yeah, like a first pass could just be fully or partial, you know.
Okay. Like full is green and partial is orange?
Yeah.
Or
Yellow.
people seem to have an aversion to red. I notice, but you know, I don't,
Yeah,
I guess,
we probably shouldn't use red. Red is warning. No.
so maybe green probably is the most recognizable, unless we want to, yeah, I don't know. And so what would it be? Just like a little circle, green circle or something? And a green circle means like, maybe maybe we just do a 50% line. If
Yeah.
out of everything, it's 50 plus and above. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to turn that off.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're thinking about icons like a, yeah, partial circle or something. What is that
Yeah.
sound?
That sounds good. A full circle or half a circle or whatever the percentage, kind of a little indicator.
We can probably find one of those somewhere, Chris.
Yeah, probably easy to find an icon like that.
I think we can find it online. So it's like for free. Let me show you the link. So like this one.
Fontus. Fontus.
Sounds awesome.
This is what,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so all
Just
you're
Google
missing,
some icon.
you're right. We were saying if it was like a circle icon that showed like a partial circle or a full circle or something like that, right?
Yeah. I think that'll work.
And then we can put alt text on it.
We can even have a tooltip for it if we want to.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could.
Either tooltip or somewhere on the page with the legends, like full circle is, whatever, fully supported. Half is just partially supported.
Yeah. I'm just thinking from my accessibility days, the screen reader. You wanted to say tool 1, partial support, tool, full support.
Oh yeah, talking about that. Yeah, sometime with the color, because for color blind people, that we need to have some kind of tooltip or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yep, that's why the circle is better for that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the circle, if it's at 50%, what were you guys discussing? Like the circle, like if it was a complete circle, it meant
That's-
50% and above, or?
It's fully fill or half fill or whatever percentage
Oh.
fill. So
Yeah.
fully fill is 100%, I guess.
Yeah. Full would be 100. Half would be partial. I don't know if we want to get more specific than that. Do we want 25
Now
and
probably just fully and partial, I think probably good enough. Just 2.
Okay.
2 to start? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
actually, if people want reasons, you can actually put that right in the GitHub comments, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would, and maybe this is, I would wonder if it would be a good idea to talk about, in the comments, if ease of use of the tool would be one of the, something that we want as a qualifier.
Hmm.
Or are we going to be?
It's very subjective. You can write it in the comments, but it's very subjective, right?
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But it can be useful guidance. Yeah, I know some tools like you plug it in once in the enterprise and it's like magic, it's everywhere. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I actually really like the format, the way this came out. It's really easy. I mean, easy on the eyes, understandable.
Yeah, maybe should we
Consumer.
merge this version and then Chris can get us a second with the icons? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I like the icons, but I'm saying that I like the way this came out. I
Mhm.
like that this was put here on the task. Yeah, I just like the way you arranged it, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like also center the icons to the middle instead of like left aligned like it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to the left of here.
It's just like in the middle of the cell, so it's like not to the side. So right now it's like left aligned, so it's to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I can like change the alignment of the icons if I add them.
Okay.
Yeah, in the middle, probably center is good.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, Chris.
There's 2 PRs, Chris. This one seems to be the top one on the list, I guess.
I think the other one is like the one we rejected last time because that one's a button. You click on it and it will bring up like a pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we like Yeah, I think we can, if you guys are okay with it, I think we can merge this one and then just close the other one.
Sure.
Yep.
I'll put a comment in there too. Oh no. I can put comments on there, but I think Steve tried to help me with merge rights, but I didn't accept the invitation fast enough, so I'll have to ask for another one.
So next on our list. I'm sorry, I'm just getting through the server going. Okay. All right. So the next, so how do we, so we're good with that? Then the next, in 2 weeks, we'll cover that. The next format, okay. And I know one of the things that Tracy had wanted to do is make this more of a working session. Meaning to, I think to really start to review some of these things. And I don't know if I am totally prepared to do that today. I could be next time. I just started the, like I said, the Hero server, and we could, you know, start to go through things, but and I can as well start to work on some of the tools that I saw out there. You know, I was really surprised by Microsoft, and completely separate note, on their free threat hunting tool that they have. Have you guys, anybody use that yet? It was
Which one?
really, it's a threat hunting tool that they have.
Yeah.
It was really, and you could use part of it for free. And I thought, wow, good for Microsoft. I'll bring it up next time. I mean, I had wondered when we got down more to the with the DF, there were places where it looked like mitigation. And I had wondered if we could use it for that, for the mitigation part. And I thought, so I was going to look more into that on a side note. Anyway, so why don't we talk about, and it's up to you guys, what do we want to do next? But do we want to take a look at some of the tools that we have out here right now? And not that we can start to rate them, but see, like, as you guys know, I'm not a developer. I would only, unfortunately, ding people. So with some of these tools, do we want to go through these tools with the remaining time that we have, or would you guys like to do something different?
Yeah, like collect some of them.
Well, start to go, as an example, when we look at, I thought Tracy had put tools in here. Okay. So if we start to look at this for produce well-secured software, do we start to look at the tools that are here and say, because you guys probably know a lot of these, no? These tools? I mean, Cyclone DX, or
Mhm.
and the one that, and I don't see it here, that we, Sonatype, of course, which I know is really popular. OWASP, again, you know, super popular. Veracode. So I know some of them, but do we want to go through? So how do we start to advance these tools and say, yeah, these are good tools, or these are not good tools? And going forward, do we want to, since we sort of want to make this a working session, do we start to agree on these tools, like, hey, for SBOM generation, for this type of tool, I have used this, and it's, you know, these are the good, this is the bad. And what do you guys think?
We can. Yes, it looks like there was
Or
one
do you
other.
guys want to step back and talk about how we want to go forward with sort of deciding which tools there are and our readiness factors?
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time like talking about how we'll decide. We can start going at it, but there was a question in the chat that we should probably get to, and then see how much time we have left, right? What is the SIG web page text to be shortened, edited?
That's just what we talked last time. The page I showed, I need
Oh.
help making it shorter.
That's what we should actually start to work on.
Yeah.
Actually do that before we, because that's, I think, going to be super important to bring people in. Yes, okay. Why don't we do that? We have, it's 30 minutes. Are you guys up for that?
Yep.
All right.
I can't get to Google Drive for my work anyway, so if we look at it together, I'd be able to see it.
Okay, cool. Let me I'll share it up. Yeah. Unless you want. All right. All right, so Roxanne, do you want to take us through this?
Sure, I basically just copied what was in the blog post, the announcement blog post. I rearranged it a bit. So the first 3 paragraphs I think are very repetitive. And I think maybe if we have a tagline or something that tells people what we do, we can put that big, you know? And then you can decide if you want what you want as a button. Do you want people to go to the repo? Do you want people to join the meetings? Like, what should be the call to action? I guess those are the 2 big things, because that is what they'll see first, right?
Okay, so first 3 paragraphs are redundant.
That's what we got on the screen right now. Okay.
And can you put in the chat your other one?
Like the
Or data one
Um,
that you did?
yeah, like the announcement.
The one that you showed me that on the
Oh,
data,
I see. Data
the other
ops.
one you did.
This one.
Because
So
you,
that's the live one from the other. They want to change it as well, but
oh, they do?
yeah, because people don't really know at a glance what it is, and they want to shorten it.
Mm. Let me,
We could have like tagline.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hi.
Tracy. How's it
Sorry I
going?
was late. I did get to do a good plug though for Checkmarks is doing something called Cracking the Code DevSecOps, and we talked about this organization a bit, which was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
the shirt. Is it because it's tax day or what?
I don't know. It was just there.
I was
just
also
grabbed
gonna
it.
comment on it. I like it.
My heart shirt. I bought it for Valentine's Day, and now I wear it all the time.
It's all about the love. No, we haven't done anything, Tracy. We've just been waiting for you.
That's not
Oh
true.
no.
We reviewed a whole PR.
And now we're reviewing the web page.
Good. Oh, because your web page, right, Roxanne? That you're gonna
Yeah, so I
build.
think it's a
Yeah,
bit
that's
too
great.
long, and so I'm trying to get a tagline so people can know what it is, and then maybe shorten those 3 paragraphs. Decide on the call to action, what you all want them to do, or there could be 2. And then
Okay.
I'm not sure the why now and all of that. Do we want to send them to the announcement? What do we want to say basically on this page?
Can you share that so I don't have to go looking for it
Yeah,
in the Thank
I
you.
think it's in the chat, no? Or, oh, you probably don't get
Well,
it.
it was, but not for me because I just joined.
because she was late.
Yes. My
Doing
penalty is
busy,
not seeing what you
important
guys
things.
talked about.
But she's wearing the cute heart shirt, so we have to give her a break.
Let's see what
Uh,
ChatGPT can do for that for a tagline, a shorter
Mm.
tagline.
So there's a suggesting mode too.
Yeah, you can just go in and like suggest things. You can, don't worry.
Hmm.
Okay, so you highlighted a potential call to action. Is that something you wanted to format differently on the page or something like that?
This,
Are you?
Yeah.
no, I don't know why that's highlighted.
Oh, okay. The purple. This
Maybe
one.
someone is highlighting it.
Oh,
It says you highlighted.
yeah, because I think
It's,
that is important. It actually says what the SIG does.
Yeah, the mission here. That was Chris.
Chris, that's a good point.
but it says you highlighted the second one that says call to action, Roxanne.
I don't feel like the first one,
Oh,
the
sorry.
tagline, I don't think that the paragraph that we have under the tagline really focuses on the fact that we're trying to show what open source tooling can be used to secure the pipeline for any size company, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
Yes.
basically in the next couple of paragraphs, but not in the top.
Yeah, we can remove
Yeah.
the top one. That was in the conclusion of the announcement. I had just moved it up there in case. So the button, the CTA is just what we need to decide we want them to do, basically. Like, do we want them to register for the meeting or do something
I
else?
think we want them to, yeah, I think we want them to register for the meeting, sign up for the meetings.
Okay.
But that's not, that's a call to action is to sign up?
Unless you
Hmm.
think there's a better one.
We can have 2 as well.
Hmm. No, I think I think of something else.
So we don't think that this paragraph is useful.
The
We want
second,
them to get involved.
the second paragraph doesn't work without the first one. So you have to redo the second one then.
So this one, you mean?
The one that
But-
starts out aims to address these challenges is talking about the first paragraph. So
Right.
So I just stuck to potential shorter taglines that we might use.
I like the second one, solving pipeline security with open source precision.
I did too.
Yeah, it really, it's very strong.
I thought it was nice and bold too.
Sounds good to me.
why not?
And we could use it to say fortify your pipeline security with open source precision.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So kind of take both of them.
Mhm.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
Yep, exactly. Sometimes you got to tweak it though, right?
Yeah.
Humans still needed.
Yeah.
Okay, so that becomes the tagline.
I mean, if you want, I can take a stab at making it all shorter and then you all can just review what I've done.
Okay. That works for me.
Okay. And do we think we want why now, and or do we focus on the goals, on the scope of work? What should be included?
I think
What?
I think the why now is important. I really do. I would love to add in here what under the why now is for North America that we no longer have a government that's worried about securing this, so the private sector is going to have to really focus on it. But we already have the fact that we're going to be using some of the frameworks that the previous administration funded and worked on, and those are still alive and well.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel like there should be something in here with regards to the need for open source packages and open source teams to be more accountable. And one way to do that is through using, free tooling because they have no budget authority. I don't know if there's any place we can put that, but I don't want to nag at them, but I feel like there's a level of accountability that these developers writing these open source packages aren't even thinking about, trying to comply with OpenSSF scorecard, for example. So somehow the private sector has to push back. And one way to do that is through exposing it, which is what we would do if somebody implemented all these tools.
Well, you
That's
could put
probably
it as number 3, or
something like, I don't know what I would say.
Can I, oh,
Private
sorry, you guys
sector.
go.
I should say secure open source. Um,
What are we trying to figure out right now?
I'm writing it, package
Okay.
and software. Okay, I just said private sector demand for accountable and secure open source packages. The rise in vulnerabilities has, I don't know why I wrote add, and has brought open source into question. Open source contributors, packages, and solutions must show compliance with security standards. I think that summed up my thought on that, number 3.
Mhm.
Yeah. And from an open source perspective, and maybe this isn't right, but isn't there something about the idea about being good world citizens, the idea like we want to do better, and so in wanting to do better, we want to make things more secure.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we would agree that open source contributors want to do better, but they don't have unlimited time,
Mhm.
right? And so by showing them how they can automate a lot of this work, we can help them do the right thing
I love that
with less effort.
a lot. Good job. Especially as we, so Tracy talking about the government, especially as we collectively have lowered standards. I know it sort of goes across the private sector, but and why there's a demand for private sector, aren't we in fact almost, haven't we now led the way to lower standards in security? And so is there a way that we step up from an open source perspective as, you know, as good citizens as perhaps other places are lowering the standards? We will remain to have our standards at a certain place. Does that make sense?
Mm. It feels sad to write that. I don't know.
Okay, so I to address Anne Marie's, I rewrote this paragraph. It says the surge in software vulnerabilities has put open source under scrutiny. To maintain trust, contributors must demonstrate compliance with security standards. While most open source maintainers want to deliver secure code, they often lack the time and resources. This SIG aims to ease that burden by showcasing how to automate security tooling within CI/CD pipelines. We empower contributors to improve security compliance with minimal effort.
Beautiful.
Great. I think it captured both my thought and yours in one paragraph.
Excellent.
And sorry, Kate, because I was writing, I was not listening to what you were saying. Was there another point?
No, I think it's captured here. I think the only other idea is, while there's since the government is lowering standards, do we not raise the standards? You know, do we not?
Well, I think that I think it's a dangerous territory to talk about the standards at all. I think we should just focus on what the standards that are already out there, and just
Okay.
even though those standards may not be evolved in any way over the course of the next 4 years, they're already pretty solid standards that I would say 90% of the companies haven't complied with all of those standards in the first place.
Okay, good
Right?
point.
Nobody's achieved
No,
every single task in the secure software development framework. There's no doubt. While
that'd be
some may be
amazing.
close, some may be close. Nobody's done them all.
Excellent.
Great, thanks. I'll work on the intro and then share it with you again.
Yeah,
Okey-doke.
I mean, Roxanne, I didn't see anything in here that, I don't like. It's good.
Well, I think the problem is that it's long.
Can you put that in
But
chat, maybe too?
yeah,
Just
I
take
mean,
the 3
I'm
paragraphs
just
and-
gonna review it for like if there's extra repeating things, that's all.
I trust Roxanne. I've seen her editing before and she's excellent at it.
I won't remove core messaging if you're all happy with what is in there.
So let's just make sure that the call to action is sign up for the SIG.
Yeah.
I think that's what it should be. Kate, do you have another idea that, I mean, what would be, I mean, that we could just get them to add their name to the GitHub repo as well.
No, I think that's perfect. This idea about getting involved is at the end of the day what we want.
And
Okay.
do we want them to just sign up for the meeting, or do I make a little form and then we get their email and name? And then I would add them.
I think just get them to sign up, because actually when they sign up, I get their email and I thank them for signing up.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Then that's good.
Nice.
And I haven't been out to get, I've been a bit distracted. I was at Space Symposium last week. And by the way, I handed out 300 Ortelius t-shirts in an hour.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh,
We had a line that was down one of the hallways, and a couple of the vendors came up and they're like, "What are you giving out?" And then at the last day I was there, somebody showed up like at 4:30, and somebody said, "I saw somebody wearing an alien T-shirt last night, and they say they got it from here. Is there any more?"
I love it.
Oh, they are
Great
very cool.
Well, they're gone now. They're every single one of them got handed out there. Because
Nice.
we handed out a bunch last year at the Open Source Summit. I kept the socks, so I'll finish off the socks there. But they've been in boxes for a while, so I was just like, we're just going to get rid of these. And it
Yeah.
was a huge success at a space symposium. Everybody wanted a freaking alien T-shirt.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
it was. Yeah, I was pretty happy that they got handed out.
Nice. All right.
All right, anything else for today? I'm going to have to jump. I have a call at 10:30. I have a very busy morning today. I don't know why. Everybody decided today was a good day for meetings.
I think we're good.
Oh, can we have, is there an easy way for people to add the meetings to their calendar? Is that a link we can give them?
That's the join the meeting link.
That's like a Zoom.
Yeah, it goes, they sign up, they request it, and then they get an invite.
I
And
think
does it add it to their calendar?
Um,
not really. But that's a way to add it to the calendar though. But I checked it. Not every meeting is on the calendar yet. So
We should make sure that they are on the calendar.
like the community calendar.
I think so, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I will update it. I think it's because we made them twice as frequent and I probably forgot.
Okay,
So
so
let's make sure
yeah,
that's
like
updated.
a link to add the meetings to your calendar.
It's just
Just-
because if the calendar doesn't get automatically updated, so if I forget and we cancel a meeting, they won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They won't know.
How would we know?
Well, we would change it in LFX, like the Linux Foundation thing, and then you would get an updated invite. because you're on the list, basically, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that works, because when I click that button, it doesn't say, or that link, it doesn't say anything about join the meetings. It just asks me to sign and then pops up a Zoom window.
Yeah, because you're already registered. When you
Okay.
don't, when you're not in it, then you get a little request a meeting invite button.
Okay.
If you do it without being logged in, you should see it, like incognito.
Right.
But whatever you want, like it's your SIG.
I'm indifferent. Kate, you have some ideas?
No, I mean, the same,
I think we just want to make sure they don't miss a meeting. I think what we want them to do is add themselves to the list, so that they get notified of the meetings and they don't miss a meeting. However
The
that
other
has to be
option is
done.
I make a form that's a bit more clear, just name an email and then I add them. It might feel more satisfying or straightforward for them than have to look for the other button. You know what I mean? I do a
Yeah,
Google
then
form, I say name, email, and then I put them in. Can do that.
then let's do it that way.
Okay.
Because then we make sure that they're added to the list and they're getting meeting
Emails.
notifications.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
all right.
Okay, well,
We good?
thank you, everybody. Again, sorry I was
Thanks.
late, and next week we got a lot of work to do on this, so I think we got to start getting our heads into how we can get some of these tasks completed. And we might want to break some of the tasks down a little more and then start pushing the task back out to the lists to say, here's some stuff that we need work done on. Because I think once people get in the habit of, or see how easy it is to update it, then we get the documentation, and then we can use this to review what's been approved and say, is that correct?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.